Hey nonny nonny, my name is Sarah and I am a bit of a Shakespeare nerd. Welcome to Something Shakespeare. Today I'm going to be reviewing Jamie Lloyd's production of Much Ado About Nothing, which is currently playing at the Theatre Royal at the Drury Lane in London. Before I go too much on, I need to disclose that the date that I saw this production was on the 17th of February, which was just before its official opening, so it was still technically in its previews at that point. So any things that I may have seen may have been altered due to changes made for press night. There has been a lot of noise about this production because the two headline names in this production is Tom Hiddleston playing Benedict and Hayley Atwell playing Beatrice. And I must admit, I've been so excited for this because I'm a huge Tom Hiddleston fan, not just for his work in the Marvel universe, but as an actual Shakespeare actor. I think Tom is one of these current actors that in years to come, he'll be like our Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. He's somebody who's had that very unique Shakespeare training, and he's somebody who just genuinely gets the text. So I was very excited to be going into this production. So arriving in at the theatre, there's music playing, there's very much this party vibe going on, there's dance lights going on in the auditorium, and it's a very loud music production, so you kind of feel like you're just in a party, and there is pink confetti used by the tons in this production. It's dropped down in the set. I'd almost say the confetti is almost a character in itself because it's used for positivity, it's used in sadness, and at one point it's used for a moment of pure ick. It's then kind of used as the set. Benedict hides amongst it during his scene, and it's really, really funny. If you're going to see this production, you're going to have a good time. I think Jamie Lloyd has kind of gone, this is who's going to come to this production. It's almost like he knew the assignment and he executes it really, really well. So the music is loud, the lights are loud, the set is loud. I mean, the set is actually very bare. There's no set apart from the confetti. There's an inflatable love heart that drops down at the back of the stage at one point, and they bring a table out, and the cast are using lightweight chairs which they just move around. Most of the characters are on stage for most of the production. The costumes, everybody looks like they're on a night out in their costumes. Beatrice wears like a pantsuit, a jumpsuit type outfit with a belt. Benedict is in Tom Hiddleston's standard navy blue, dark blue colours. Hero is wearing a hot pants outfit. We'll come back to Hero. I have a lot of thoughts on that. Claudio is wearing, he has like a silver outfit where he's showing his midriff. Margaret is the most affected character because she is, her character, and I say her because they refer to her in the script as her, she's the one that kind of makes up a lot where the text has been pulled around a lot, and she's got this lovely like a crop top blouse almost, and a lovely long skirt, and it looked really nice actually. Borachio had like a mafia fur coat on. Don Pedron wears this pink shirt, pink trousers. Oh, and Don John, he wears just a shirt with a cravat, and he's very flamboyant, very, very flamboyant. Gets a lot of giggles. He's almost like a villain that you don't take that seriously. Doesn't feel that much of a threat. Musically, Margaret does all the singing in the production, and their voice is really good for actually being really sensitive and tender in moments when needed, or to get the crowd going. Mason Alexander Park plays Margaret, and they're just this lovely bridge character. I really enjoyed their performance actually. Let's talk about what did this production get right. There is so much that is fun about this production. Tom Hiddleston is an amazing lead. I think stepping back, you can say we've seen him do histories, we've seen him do tragedy, and now knowing he can do comedy, and he's really good at it. And There's no getting around it. There is a lot of Tom Hiddleston fans in this audience, and that is played to for great effect. And it's used on as part of the storytelling, if you like. And he has the audience in his hand. He's a great actor. Hayley Atwell is a formidable Beatrice. You can't have a weak Beatrice next to a strong Benedict. It's, they've got to be as strong as each other, and Hayley Atwell was absolutely wonderful. She was actually quite an angry Beatrice. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more sensitivity between them, particularly in the second half. But I think maybe still seeing the production early in its previews. Well, I suppose it's late previews, but anyway, I think that's something that might come in with more ease further on. Just so much dancing, so much dancing in this production. Gonna have a good night. I jokingly said to a friend that Drury Lane is going to make an absolutely killing in Prosecco, judging on the if you're going on what the statistics of the audience is going to be. There's going to be the Drury Lane is going to make an absolute fortune from Prosecco in this production. You could hear glasses being knocked over all over the theatre. What didn't the production get quite right for me? Okay, here we go. A few years ago, I met Greg Doran, who was the artistic director at the RSC, Royal Shakespeare Company, and my question to him was, were problem plays still the same as they were then, as they are now? And he said that he thought the problems were changing. Using, for example, the fat shaming that is generally given to Falstaff, for example. And how that is less acceptable to our audience now as it would have been to Shakespeare's audience then. And I thought that was a really interesting thought, and I went away and mused on that. And I was able to apply that thought of a changing problem to this production, and that is the problem part of Hero. My problem with Hero is that it's not a problem, but we have a problem with how she's written. In Shakespeare's time, she is a young, naive, innocent, the daughter of a nobleman, so there is a standard of how she's expected to behave. When they do it in a modern setting, it is very hard for those characteristics to be applied. Potentially. I don't think it's impossible. So in this production of Much Ado, you have Hero is quite fiery. She's wearing a hot pants outfit, and this is the bit that really got me, is during the masquerade ball, which is excellent. I forgot to mention the masquerade ball. They wear these big helmet mask things that look like they're from The Masked Singer. She knows that she's being wooed by. She knows that it's not Claudio that she's dancing with. She knows it's Don Pedron, and she's grinding up against him in this dance scene and twerking him, and it's just not the right moment. It's not the right behaviour for this character. It can be done. I can see it being done in ways where it's like somebody trying to be brave for the first time, and then for this character to faint at her wedding, that's not the matching behaviour. This hero who goes twerking up against a man that she doesn't know, and definitely knows that it's not who's going to be her future husband, she'd claw out his eyes. She wouldn't faint. And that's my problem with Hero. So that's actually one of my biggest grievances with this production, is that Hero's not demure enough, if you like. And then the other thing that I don't really like is when the text gets pulled around too much. Removing of Dogberry and his associate characters. You know what? It does work for this production, but because it keeps the pace going, and Dogberry, I think there's some people who wouldn't have missed him at all. But there is still the text is pulled out of sync in so many places, and even the chopping of odd lines that I really noticed. For example, when Hero collapses at the wedding altar, Beatrice calls out to all the men, so she's like, Signor Pedro, Leonato, Claudio, and she shouts Benedict, and he comes. He's the only one that stops and comes to her. And that moment is so important, because Benedict is choosing his line. He's choosing where he wants to be. That line was cut, and I noticed it, because it's like, and that matters, because later on in the play, Benedict asks Beatrice to come to him, and she comes. So there's this, they call each other and they come, which is a complete change of let us send her in to call him in for dinner. And those little details I missed. However, and I digress, you will have a good time. This is a fun production, particularly if you're sitting in the stalls, because you get showered on with confetti at the end, and it makes you feel great. But I think when things settle and you think, well, take out the dancing, take out the noise, and just have the dialogue. How is that then playing? How does that sit? So for me to review, go and see it. It's so worth seeing. It's such a fun production. However, for me personally, I think the text is pulled around a little bit too much, and I did miss Dogberry. I think they could have still had him as a character and still condensed him down. But as they say, so many characters are cut from this production, with only having 10 in the company, and those 10 don't duplicate their parts. They just play their set characters. Margaret picks up lines that are usually said by other characters. So anyway, that is Much Ado About Nothing, and go and see it. It's good fun, and it's good to see strong leads such as Tom Hiddleston and Hayley Atwell. They are both absolutely fabulous. The rest of the company are also very strong in their support. I think Jamie Lloyd knew his assignment. He accepted the assignment and made it pay for who the target audience, and that's what it is. It is a crowd pleaser. You're up and dancing by the end, and your head's buzzing from the sound afterwards. As a side note, if you're a Tom Hiddleston fan, I'd probably suggest don't attempt to stage door at this production. I called into the shop that's at the front of the Drury lane for this, and I could see the queue that was literally going up the length of the theatre and around the corner. These people have just finished work. Maybe they just want to go home. Okay, so here's the point of when I packed up all the camera equipment, and I've just thought, oh, there's more stuff I wanted to add. So apologies for that. Just the other things that I wanted to add with what I didn't really love about the production was, because of this constant dance feel and dance party vibe, there wasn't much chance for the audience to feel the respect and the authority that senior characters, so by that I mean Leonardo and Don Pedro, you don't really feel that these are people who are respected people of society. You don't feel that. So it's a little bit hard to take seriously the anger that Leonardo goes through at Hero being accused of dishonouring the family name, if you like. And the same for Don Pedro. And that's what it loses in constantly trying to be a party vibe. So I think overall, Much Ado About Nothing at Drury Lane is really like the morning after a really great party. You have a great time at the party, you drink lots and you have a fantastic time, but then you get up the next day, come downstairs to the house and see the wake, the devastation of the wake of how am I going to sort this lot. And I think that's when you had a great time, you'll have lots of great memories, but you also have to pick through that. And I'm also saying this as somebody who loves Shakespeare. I've watched many productions of Much Ado About Nothing. So I've got quite a high bar, and I'm not joking. I loved the production. It was great. However, it didn't tick all the boxes that I like it to tick. And I think if you don't know much of the difference in the play, then you won't miss that. However, if you are older school, then I think you'll notice the difference. I've babbled enough. Thank you for watching. Ta-ta.